The car moves slowly along a long, straight road. The asphalt is narrow, bordered by red earth and low scrub stretching as far as the eye can see. The sun is not yet high, but the steering wheel is already warm. The driver lowers the window, and dry air enters, carrying the smell of dust and fuel. Somewhere ahead, a simple sign announces a roadside service stop. There is no hurry. The journey itself is part of the day. The engine slows, the tires crunch softly over gravel, and the car stops beneath the uneven shade of an old awning. We are on Australian roads, sometime in the 1970s. The country is vast. Distances are long, and stopping is part of the rhythm. Roadside stations act as small meeting points, where travelers, truck drivers, and locals cross brief glances before moving on. There is no loud music, no glowing screens, just metal counters, bottles lined up in simple fridges, and the constant sound of wind against weathered structures. The road continues in every direction, but here, for a few minutes, everything slows down. $5 is nothing remarkable. It is a folded note in a trouser pocket or a worn wallet. It moves naturally from hand to hand, placed on the counter without comment. No one thinks much about its value, only about what it solves in that moment. It helps you keep going, rest briefly, keep your body working. On Australian roads in the 1970s, $5 follows the flow of the day like any other ordinary object. What could you do with $5 out there, far from the cities? The answer appears in small gestures repeated along the road. Simple, everyday gestures that keep the journey moving. Could $5 get you something to drink? Yes, a bottle of soft drink or a cold beverage pulled from a humming fridge. The driver twists the cap, takes the first sip, leaning against the car, and looks out at the empty road ahead. The refreshment comes as much from the pause as from the drink itself. Could $5 buy something to eat? It could, a simple sandwich, made on the spot, with soft bread, grilled meat, and a basic sauce, wrapped in thin paper and handed over while still warm, eaten slowly, leaning on the bonnet, chewing without conversation, just enough to keep going. Would there be anything left after that? Often, yes. A few coins for a small, sweet, or a chocolate bar near the till. Nothing special, just something small for the next stretch of road. These are quiet purchases, barely noticed, yet they make the road possible. The wind blows steadily along the highway. It lifts dust, moves the scrub, and passes through open car windows. Inside the service station, the light is simple, cast by bulbs that make no effort to imitate daylight. The floor bears the marks of boots and repeated footsteps. Behind the counter, someone wipes their hands on a cloth and watches the movement without hurry. Nothing here is built to impress. Everything seems built to last. The 1970s pass quietly along Australian roads. Journeys are longer, maps are paper, and distance feels different. You do not rush to arrive. Arriving is part of traveling. Those who live or work along these routes learn to measure the day by the sun, by stops, by the body's tiredness. $5 fits into this rhythm, used for simple decisions. The amount is not discussed. It meets direct needs. It fuels small moments, not long-term plans. When someone asks the price, it is out of habit, not surprise. Money moves naturally, as if it has always belonged there. Could $5 buy fuel? In many cases, yes. A few liters, enough to reach the next stretch of road. The attendant holds the nozzle, watches the meter climb slowly, and stops at the agreed amount. The driver nods, thanks. The journey continues. Could $5 cover a coffee? It could, a strong coffee poured into a thick mug. Steam rises as the cup is held in both hands. The taste is plain and direct, warming more through the moment than the flavor. A short rest before returning to the wheel. Could $5 pay for a small repair? Sometimes a quick adjustment, a look under the bonnet, a tightened bolt. Nothing complex, just enough to keep worries at bay. Someone bends down, works quietly, wipes their hands, and signals that all is fine. These uses draw little attention. They belong to the road. $5 circulates as part of the basic mechanics of travel, without promise and without excess. The sun climbs higher, and the heat becomes constant. The road seems to shimmer in the distance. The car radio crackles between stations, offering familiar songs and long stretches of silence. The driver adjusts the dial, then turns it off. Sometimes, silence suits the landscape better. On Australian roads in the 1970s, stopping is not a sign of delay. It is part of the journey. Roadside stations serve as small islands of activity between long, empty stretches. $5 continues to be used in the same quiet way, solving immediate needs. Could $5 buy a more filling meal? In some places, yes, a simple plate of the day, served at a counter or a small table. Meat, a side, nothing elaborate. The traveler sits, eats without rush, watches people come and go. It is a practical meal, without ceremony. Could $5 pay for a shower? Sometimes a quick wash in basic facilities, with lukewarm water and little space. Road dust disappears down the drain, taking some of the fatigue with it. The fogged mirror reflects someone ready to continue. Could $5 buy supplies for later? It could, a packet of biscuits, some basic fruit, something to eat further down the road. Items placed on the passenger seat, within easy reach. Each choice is made without deep thought. The money serves the present moment. It offers continuity, nothing more. The road accepts this quietly. Late afternoon approaches, and the light changes. The sky lowers, colored in warm tones. Service stations switch on their lights early, becoming small visible points from a distance. Movement slows, but does not stop. Truck drivers pull in. Travelers stretch their legs. $5 continues to pass across counters and between pockets, not as something scarce, but as a simple tool. Could $5 secure a place to rest? In some areas, yes. A basic bed at a roadside motel, or at least access to a safe place to stop and sleep in the car. The room is small and functional. Night silence settles over everything. Could $5 buy conversation? Indirectly, a lingering coffee, a few words exchanged at the counter, short stories about the road, nothing deep. Just recognition between those passing through and those staying behind. Could $5 take care of the day? It could, enough. Not comfort or surplus, but forward motion without burden. That was sufficient. The road asks for no more. Today, the same amount carries a different weight. $5 still exists, but its reach has changed. On modern Australian roads, it rarely covers a full meal, fuel, or a long pause. More often, it stretches only to something small, quick, almost symbolic. The comparison does not call for judgment. It simply appears. The act of handing over the note remains, but what comes back is different. Time feels shorter, stops feel rushed, choices narrower. The road remains, but the money's role has tightened. This difference is not announced, it is noticed in the details. The most striking detail is not the value itself, but how much of the day it once supported. In the 1970s, $5 could carry you kilometers forward, let the body rest, keep the journey balanced. It extended time. Today, the same amount rarely provides that breathing space. The road is still long, but pauses have shortened. Money now covers fewer gestures, smaller moments. None of this needs to be labeled as better or worse. It is simply different. Life shifts, rhythms adjust, and what once carried a full stretch of travel now carries only a fragment. Perhaps someone who crossed these roads back then still remembers the sound of the wind, the plain taste of coffee, and the feeling that $5 was enough for another stretch. If that memory exists, it likely lives quietly somewhere, undisturbed.